Oh, I think it's absolutely imperative. When I was a CEO of quite a large educational group, and one of our values was entrepreneurship. And if you don't create the freedom for everybody, then you don't have a creative, vibrant organisation. And I think gone are the days where autocratic leadership is going to win. If you look at organisations that are really doing well, they're agile, they're thoughtful, they're creative, and nobody can be creative in an environment of fear or overworkedness. So I think you have to create space for ideas to come forward. I think time is an issue. So a number of years ago, I trained in design thinking and actually trying to get people to think creatively. So I think you need time. I think you need a culture where failure is actually seen as positive. So in my senior team, I would challenge people if they didn't fail. You need to take really big, bold ideas, put them into practice, fail. And one of the key things of design thinking is you fail fast, recalibrate and try again. And I think if you want an organisation which is going to meet tomorrow's needs, then you need to accept failure as an amazing learning experience and allow people to feel confident. And failure is different from incompetence. And I think people think if you failed, you're not competent. They're not the same. So at the moment, education is very into skills, working with employers. We started doing that in 2016 because we had a big session with our leaders. So all of our managers were trained in design thinking to try and create that environment. And if you look at individuals at the grassroots, know what's going wrong, know where the blockers are. Therefore, if you give them the space, they can come up with some really exciting ideas. So we changed our curriculum, we redesigned it with employers in mind. So if an example where it was really successful, we created a very different type of online access course, and we were massively oversubscribed, amazingly good success rates. But we redesigned not only the curriculum, we actually redesigned physical environments to encourage that to take place. Persuading people. If you've worked very, very hard to be a senior leader, where you could be pontificating about the wonderfulness of your ideas, it's rather galling when your boss goes, absolutely, they're great, but we're now going to delegate that responsibility to everybody. And your job is to facilitate their design, not your own. So it was persuading the senior team. And then when you say to people you're allowed to fail, particularly because it was a wide education, schools and colleges, actually failure in that context is not a good thing. So you have to really go through what failure is, and actually some of your biggest learning, even if it's an exam actually, is quite powerful. But you've also got to release in people that, you know, when you watch small children, they just straw, they play, they have such fun. You go to adults and we are so reserved. So it's actually creating that sense of fun and play in everybody. Well, first of all, I think you've got to have an environment where people genuinely believe they're going to be listened to in a deep sense of being listened to, and therefore their ideas are going to be absolutely taken on board. So some of the steps we took were, one, we introduced a director of coaching. The senior team all had coaches. So that was the one thing we really tried to develop, that sense of listening. And then a sense of empowerment, that however daft your ideas are, that they would be influenced and implemented. So we actually put a fund for design and creativity, and we put $500,000 into it. The first year we ran it, I think one person came forward with an idea. So we then tried to work with people. And the second thing we did was therefore give feedback, because you come up with an idea, I squash it, you then go, well, you said. So we actually took the design thinking form of feedback, which is I really like this and I like this. but I wonder rather than great idea, but that's rubbish. So we took I wonder, and we started with my senior team giving me feedback and how I would receive it, and then their staff giving them. You need to teach people how to give feedback so that when somebody has a great creative idea, they don't feel squashed. They understand the wonder and they know how to go away and rectify what's gone wrong. The human capacity for self-limiting itself. So people would go, oh, well, I haven't got any good ideas. And you'd say, but God, look at those learning materials you've developed. They're incredible. Could they be converted into great online material? Oh, that's not good enough. And actually saying, well, it is good enough, and trying to get people to work together and observe one another. So I would say, actually, I've seen a great piece of work you've done. Would you submit it? But the number of people who would go, no, it's not good enough, and be very, very concerned about overexposing themselves. If you haven't recruited people who have got both the interest and desire to be creative, then you can do what I said. You can create this amazing pot of 500,000 and you can guarantee it's going to be there in a year's time. So it's recruiting people who are curious, who are self-aware, who actually do want, if you want others to develop and flourish, and their ego doesn't want to squash somebody else's brilliant idea. And so you need to actually look how you recruit with integrity. So you're recruiting people who are going to not all be the same, because you want diversity for real creativity, but they're up for being curious and they're up for trying something new.